Federalism. In federalism, the powers of the government are divided between state powers and national powers. Both the national government and the individual state governments have certain powers and different authorities. The national government has the power to make treaties, declare war, coin money, naturalize citizens, etc. The individual state governments have the power to regulate the sale of alcohol, trade within a state, marriage and divorce, etc. The national and state governments do have a few concurrent powers. They both have the power to collect taxes, fund and regulate education, and enforce laws. These powers are broken up into three different powers: expressed, inherent, and other. Expressed powers. Expressed powers are powers that are specifically given to the national government, as laid out by the Constitution. For example, it is clearly stated in Article 1, Section 8, "The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, declare war, and establish post offices." Implied powers are not directly stated in the Constitution, but implied that they exist. For example, it is expressed that the national government has the power to collect taxes. Therefore, the implied power is that the government establishes the IRS to collect taxes. Even though these powers are not clearly stated in the Constitution, they have to exist for the powers to be carried out. Since the government has the power to collect taxes, they have the power to establish an agency to collect these taxes. Inherent powers. Inherent powers are powers that a government has simply because it is a sovereign power. One of the inherent powers that the national government has is the power to regulate immigration. The national government has this power because it has complete power. The national government has to decide how to allow immigrants into the country, jobs for these immigrants, what to do about illegal immigrants, etc. Inherent powers can be viewed like your parents' responsibilities. They have to provide food, shelter, clothing, etc. just because they are your parents. Other powers. Since the state governments have different concerns, they have different powers. States have limited powers under the 10th Amendment, which says that any power is not specifically given to the national government is then granted to the states. Examples of state powers are regulation of liquor sales, gambling, and traffic regulations. National and state governments do have some of the same powers. One power they both have is to collect taxes. Both governments have the power to collect taxes, but each state keeps their own tax revenue. The entire country doesn't share all of the individual state taxes. A second example would be the power to make laws. The national government creates laws for the entire country to follow, but because individual states face different issues, they also have the power to create laws. Interstate relations means that each state treats citizens of other states the same as it would citizens of their own state. States acknowledge other states' driver's license, marriage license, and other legal documents. Also, if a criminal escapes, for example from Tennessee, and comes into Kentucky and is captured, Kentucky officials will return the criminal to Tennessee. Remember, federalism is about the division of powers between national and state